Pacific Recycling Foundation is really a journey that started 28 years ago under Waste Recyclers Fiji Limited, and that was about bringing recycling to Fiji. When it originally started, it was a very corporate type of setup enterprise where it was all about collection and taking things away, and there's a money component to it. When some of us who call ourselves recycling advocates joined the space about 16 so years ago, and through that journey we realized that there's a real human element part of it. So Pacific Recycling Foundation itself is bringing those voices of people, attached to it the component of human right aspect to recycling and environment work, the element of women and LGBTIQ plus groups involved in that space and as waste pickers, and also about advocacy, about policy, about research, and all of those different elements of things that actually make recycling and waste management a holistic approach within an economy. So Pacific Recycling Foundation, the idea was there to form it for many years ago, but what really brought it to its core and for us to sort of reflect and say we really need this organization was what was happening during the COVID lockdown. So what was happening during that time, we were always supporting people in the informal waste picking space throughout the journey, giving them support through bank registration, FNPF registration, things like that. But what happened during the lockdown was, especially the women waste pickers could not go out and collect. So our team had no choice but to provide them with support through food packs, dignity packs, sanitary pads, and things like that we were doing. But one key realization came around that time was the severe form of domestic violence that was happening. And we were in situations where we would have to partner with or call upon organizations like Fiji Women's Career Center, the police department, and so forth, to come and take these women who were so severely beaten up to be rescued out of their homes and things. And all this was, so we realized that there was domestic violence, but not the severity of it. So during that time, we began to talk about how do we provide structured support to these groups of individuals. So that is where the journey for Pacific Recycling Foundation really started in the lockdown phase of COVID-19. So after that, when we came back and we said, okay, a registration process has to start. But before even the foundation was registered this year, we had our first workshop. So with the women who were part of this situation during COVID lockdown, we tried to gather as many of them from the Lautoka area, and we brought them to Suva for a workshop on human rights, gender, legal literacy, financial literacy. And attached to that was also wellness. You know, sometimes these groups also don't realize the importance of looking after themselves. So we had partnered with the Fiji Cancer Society to take that forward. So during that workshop, a lot of other things came out, a lot of other issues came out. So, but that itself for 2022 was our very important element that we wanted to take forward in bringing empowerment to this group. So we had 16 women who took part in that workshop, and attached to that workshop was the realization that the name informal waste picker itself was contributing to the stigma attached to the space. And that realization was brought to us by these women all who were part of that workshop. And there was a lot of sharing of experiences about traumatic past and all of those things that some of them have gone through. So following from that workshop, we partnered with the Fiji Women's Career Center and IUCN again, and had a second workshop where we took the same group of women and they chose a more dignified name that they wanted the group to be referred to. So this year, one of the key achievements for Fiji, regionally and globally, has been that the name change for informal waste pickers, what they were commonly known, has now changed to Collection Pillars of Recycling. So CPR is what they're called now. And that name is projected to be used not just by us here, by those involved in informal waste picking here, but also globally. And we've got partners in other countries, even as far as India, for example, who have taken on the name and are now in their academic writing are using CPR as the best way to refer to these groups. And so that was a key achievement that was there. And also during our Global Recycling Day, we had 24 advocates from Generans College who went through our internal training to become recycling advocates for their school and influencing change in behavior in 900 or so other students. And that's also an evolving program for us. we saw that there were some individuals who were really going beyond their call of advocacy. So the AMMA award is about that those individuals who are taking recycling space, they could be from any profession. They don't have to be working in a recycling space. They don't even have to be a recycling on the go advocate or a community advocate or anything. But in their own area, if they're doing in work that actually supports and changes behavior and influences positive change to recycling, so this award is for them. And it's also about ensuring that we get the movement building process with some recognition for those people.
PRF is well placed to work with the women that are working in the recycling chain. It's also well placed to start mobilizing funds. That would be something that is going to be really good for the activities that we're looking at right now. Because we foresee, for example, some of the activities that we are looking at, remote areas, looks at formalized for women recyclers, and with PRF as an NGO, I think it's a better place to mobilize resources for these activities. Even though it's early days, it's a very unique approach. It's going to be something that we foresee to be replicated across not only here locally, but in the region as well. It's not totally new approach in as far as private sector and public partnerships concept is concerned, but it's something that it has been overlooked. But with PRF and WRFL on board, it certainly has a scope to fill up some of the gaps that we identifying with respect to getting the communities. Not only in the communities, but there is a gender element to it, where we are now looking to expand on with some of the work that we are seeing that we need to do on finding out how different gender elements work within the plastics value chain and how they can support the recycling vision, not only for Fiji, but the region. So working with the communities is a new approach, but it has capacity and potential to actually fill in some of the gaps that we see that are lacking.
Kena bisa unayava na nito ngangana saranga me bisa unayava. Balata ni sangani kima minganele o kima dakabato. Wira talanga na tangani. Ni ngireida ni bisa unayava ba sa kami rambaili buna nito dakavaka kila talanga ni sana wira talanga na reida mai na bisa uniava rasana kila wira ni ndona waktangin dengan debina kakima baka darti. Reidi mbin sombutu sangge reidi dakeni ndona dakavaka dedere. Iliu wakami kimami wakawele na tu nangonongo kimsange kila ni doni buri-buri ni labo bina kana ni mami mata kubal. Sana kito lako ya ndona workshop ko ya kimami ngolea kimsali buli de mekina na kambaleta na lawa. Baleta na ndondonu ni marama yandua. Ibsarna ka kito le buli de mekia o rida na nito sangai wakami ongai kila ni dona ka dedere kito baidorti. Nanu mande nani tu mika tu nakian nakake de bango me daga lolo vira ngere dan ni tu les mai subongo ngikila ni daga de der daga kitu ba tu kap serangan jana be bartar tak beki mamia balata libu nango na kima minda taur nei labo bang tak ba Italia sange da kaborto me dala bibi kitu ni tu account yana BSP kitu sange kim sange kilani tikundra pun nuaro ni ke mami maruiki na ni mami yao. Ito girmai kita ulakani na yad li torikiana nung tutuk sanggai baka umekia na kakana bikito na letin kabana marama. Ito kani to marautaka ito kaya balata nangunan simber ni kito selikina bikito kito ndau waktu mikito nga sana canvas na daba kito ndarama kato. Kaya nangono sangge selikina bikito na nito ya kito sangge kila ni to sa baka me de sartunga na nito to mikoto na rabisyo kila ni ndo na kabinak kito na rani adaba ni kito sareda ni sa basar ngamia na kena baru tek menito baba nito but na na ya reflector na ganilinga.
This has actually broadened my perspective on recycling and waste management, and not just me, but personally speaking for my class. And it has shown to have an impact, as people are known to not just copy but learn from other people's actions. And seeing this being practiced in my classroom, I was actually really happy, and to see that people are actually initiating. It took a lot of time, quite a lot of time. But looking back from the start now, we're actually really proud of the achievement that we have obtained, that students are actually taking the initiative to separate the rubbish and or recyclables like in the respective bins. And that's actually like one of the many steps to help in this movement. In community level, for me, it has impacted by not just influencing me in my actions. I have started practicing at home, and most people start questioning, and that's where I not instill, however, but like share my knowledge of what I've gained through the program and the training. And that's actually how like my community has sort of started sorting out their recyclables and rubbish.
Firstly, the community members are now using the iRecycle bins, and secondly, their method of waste disposal has changed. Now they are segregating their waste materials, and the recyclables are now ending up at the right place.
Waste Recyclers has been in operation for the past 28 years. As part of our work is involved, we do all sorts of collection for recyclables. In terms of, we are the only company in Fiji that can provide you a wider range of collections for recyclables. These recyclables are then brought over from our corporate clients, resorts, hotels who require our services, and then these are taken to our 3 facilities that are located in Suva and 2 in Lautoka, where the sorting process happens. This is where the PET bottles, the cardboards, the tin cans, the aluminium cans, printer toner cartridges, glass bottles, the local beer bottles. So as you can see, there is the whole range of things that get separated into their categories, and then they are processed, thoroughly cleaned, and then baled for export. It was challenging in the beginning, in the very first years of when the company was also doing this work, but with the Pacific Recycling Foundation, people's mindset have actually gradually beginning to change now. There is more sustainability programs coming into corporate and resorts. People are trying to become very sustainable in what they are doing, and this is where our work is really picked up. But also that we can see is the shift that Pacific Recycling Foundation has created. The mentality, the activism that is going on, the change that they are bringing in is also benefiting the waste recyclers as its commercial arm.